This episode is brought to you by Love Hurts. Kiwi Kwan has had quite a career, from childhood roles in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and The Goonies to a recent Academy Award win for Everything Everywhere All at Once. But now Ki finally stars as a leading man in the film Love Hurts. Love Hurts is the perfect date night movie with its mix of over-the-top action, comedy, and a ton of heart. Love Hurts, only at theaters February 7th.
The new year is the perfect time to start fresh. So why not make it delicious? Start your day with Bob's Red Mill 100% whole grain oats. One simple ingredient with endless possibilities. Whether you're a sweetness savorer or a good health guru, with Bob's Red Mill, you can have a naturally delicious breakfast made your way. So savor your mornings with premium oats, perfected by nature and made to be shared. No matter how you top your oats, you're always welcome at our table. Look for Bob's Red Mill oats in the blue bag.
Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run, the Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like or you dislike, go ahead, shoot us a quick take, 219-413-9405. And of course, we'll play your take back on our next episode. Speaking of episodes, shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. Get $20 off your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code TheRunPodcast. But just keep in mind, this code can only be applied for first-time users on the mobile app or website. So still prime time in basketball season, so go ahead. Go to some of them games, man. I got a Celtics game coming up. I'm excited about that, but I'm even more excited about something else because I'm not alone today, man. I got my co-host for the day with me, Eric Vincent, B reporter for the Detroit Pistons. And oh yeah, man, hey, we about to jump into it. What's going on with you, Eric?
Good, man. I'm chilling, Manny. How's everything with you, bro?
I'm good, man. Hey, same as you. Just been working hard. Just been in that bag lately. Been in that bag. So, look, man. Hey, I brought you here so we could talk Pistons. I would talk Lions with you, but they're not really. They got eliminated. Not even gonna put you through that much distress right now.
Please, I'm just getting past it all. Thank you.
I'm not gonna do that to you. You already mentioned you a little nervous because the All-Star selection is happening tonight. And Cade, where are we at about that, man? Is we thinking Cade gonna get picked in the All-Star selection? Is they gonna make it happen or not?
He should be. He absolutely should be. I feel like when you look among the landscape of the Eastern Conference guards, I've made the case. I think he's the best guard in the Eastern Conference. I think he's better than Brunson. I think he's better than Dame Lillard. When you look at the responsibility that he has compared to everybody else in terms of roster construction, in terms of his production as a two-way athlete on both sides of the floor, I don't think there's anybody in the East that's playing better than Cade at the point guard position. Averaging career high numbers, 25 points a game, just over 9 assists a game, career high efficiency. And again, they've had to lean on him a lot defensively. And while a lot of the NBA media and a lot of people may still have this stigma among Detroit sports, I think Cade has garnered a lot of great respect from his contemporaries, from players and coaches.
Yes, sir.
Like, I've talked to a lot of them pregame before the Pistons go on the court, pregame, postgame. They have a lot of respect for what he's done, and it's showing in his numbers and in team victories as well. So I don't see the argument against him on a logical standpoint, but yeah, I understand why fans are nervous right now.
Yeah, I'm nervous. I think he's gonna get snubbed, man. I told you, I'm not really the best person to talk to right now in terms of being positive when it comes to this situation, because just, man, I don't know, man. He can go as crazy as he can, but it seems like for some reason it's just a narrative that the Pistons aren't good enough, or he isn't good enough, regardless of him being number 2 in assists in the East right now, and actually number 2 in the league of leading in assists right now, and also still putting up a great deal of points, and just the way he controls the game. For some reason, it seems like it's just always a question, like, is he good enough? And it's like, bro, we know because we've been watching Cade for the last 4 years, but bro has been doing this since his second year in the league. Like, bro, this is nothing new for us Detroit Pistons fans. Like, we already know what Cade has been about. So I think the biggest part is just winning. The more they win games, the more attention is going to get there. I don't know who the hell hit the PR button. Was that you? Because I mean, I know you riding with the Pistons. So was that you that hit the PR button? What's up with that, bro? Like, where did that come from out of nowhere? Where like all of a sudden people started recognizing him on a national scale. You got any idea where that came from?
It really came out of nowhere. I mean,
that was crazy.
I feel like he earned it for sure. I feel
Absolutely.
like they won a lot of games that put him on that national scale where he was the reason like a lot of those wins are being delivered. Like beating the Lakers on the road, taking it to KD on the road,
yep.
A game-winning block and a game-winning left-handed hook against the Atlanta Hawks, like the signature moments against the New York Knicks twice at Madison Square Garden. So those national like spotlight moments, Cade has done a great job of really showing out and being that focal point player. You know, he's I think second or third in triple doubles right now as well, with 6 or 7 on the year.
Absolutely.
So like he's done a lot to really to garner that PR attention. It was really cool seeing him on TNT talking to Shaq and going on the ESPN presser. Fans have been waiting for this moment to see him get that shine as a number 1 pick. And it's really cool to see him get that acknowledgement. Hopefully they can carry it with an all-star nod as well.
And that gives me hope. That gives me hope because he had, like, obviously he's finally getting the recognition and then he has the numbers to back up anything that anybody is saying of why he's an all-star. So that part does give me hope. But anyway, so again, let's look a little bit bigger picture because obviously, as I mentioned, Pistons got to start winning before anybody gets recognized as an all-star. This has been the dilemma over the past few years. As we've known, we had a Bentley in the garage, but the garage is just somewhere in the hood. So don't nobody really care. But the thing that's going to probably help us win, I've seen a tweet of yours. You said the Pistons just need to find their Pascal Siakam and they'll be all right. Who would you try and find that could play that Pascal Siakam role or help the Pistons maybe go on this playoff run, secure the 6th seed? Who would you trade for at the deadline to make that happen and to almost guarantee the Pistons a playoff spot?
I don't think a Siakam level player is going to be available this time around, but I do think the Pistons are going to be active just before the deadline. It's unfortunate just because of the situation that Cade and these Pistons have been in with the young foundation, because it feels like every single time like they have a good season or Cade shows some potential, that next season you feel like, okay, now is the time you push that button and you go get that veteran star player to kind of complement with these guys like Indiana did with Siakam.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's out there right now. There's 2 names that I would love for them to go after. I think one is more realistic than the other. I think Utah is going to start blowing things up, and I would love to see Colin Sexton on this team. If you want to focus on a playoff run right now, I feel like he's a perfect kind of player that has played with JB Bickerstaff before. He alleviates a lot of pressure from Cade as a secondary ball handler off the bench or as a starter, whichever one you want to use him for. He's a bucket getter. He's, very tenacious defensively. And even when when Jaden Ivey comes back, I don't think his role is as much of a threat to the development of the young guys. I think he's a well-rounded complementary player that they could add. The number 2 guy I would love, and this is kind of just a pie in the sky guess, again, I don't think it's going to happen. I would love to see Cam Johnson on this basketball team.
Thank you.
I think the Nets are going to start blowing things up soon. They already kind of started letting Dennis Schroeder go. So I do think they're going to be in a position where maybe he could be, in those discussions. I think he will be traded. I don't think it'll be to the Pistons, but I just look at the way he plays, where they have Tobias Harris, who's, very sound as a veteran.
Back and
he's
forth.
So streaky, so inconsistent. And Cam is just the well-rounded young version that is everything that you can rely on a night-to-night basis as a 3 or a 4.
Yes,
I
sir.
would love to see him on this team. He wouldn't take away any kind of reps. He's getting better at creating his own shot as well, too. So those are my 2 names. Again, the Siakam deal, I think maybe be another year away once Ivy and everybody else is healthy. But I think those are 2 names right now that they could focus on to maintain that playoff race rush right now.
Okay, that's valid. So I love the Cam Johnson. I've been all over that. I've been thinking that's been on my brain, and man, I'm hoping that happens because I feel like he's one of those guys too where he can easily assimilate into the game plan. Like he's not gonna come in and you got to be like, hey, whoa, we got to stop everything we was doing and we got to change the way we do it. No, and Cam play defense. And one of the things I noticed with the Pistons is we can finally keep up with teams scoring the ball now. But damn it, sometimes our defense is just just awful, man. Like sometimes 1v1 wise, sometimes it's so bad. And I noticed like we struggle playing against stretch bigs and bigs who can shoot the shot, because when we got Stu guarding a five, I mean, you just look at the Pacers game the other day, like Siakam and Turner, like those guys can stretch the floor, and it's tough on our bigs with Duran and Stu just having to chase those guys all around the floor. Then it leaves the paint exposed. And like, man, I love them to death. I love our shooters. But man, they are just shooting. They're not always 3 and D. Sometimes they're just 3. Right. Like sometimes they're just 3. So I think adding Cam Johnson to that would definitely help on the aspect of just being another elite perimeter defender and a guy who can, keep guys from just easy buckets getting to the paint. Because when we play those stretch bigs, man, it really opens up the floor for a lot of the guards to go around us. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on there. One of the guys I also had in mind was Brandon Ingram. I'm not sure how realistic this will be for before the trade deadline. And also he's been dealing with some injuries and stuff too, which kind of worries me. But I feel like in the long term, this would be a very good help, just because this is a guy who is practically 7 feet tall. He can score, he can shoot. He could still improve on the defensive end, but also he's just another lanky body that's down there on the floor and someone who can help score from any area of the court with Cade Cunningham. Like, he has another help in the element of scoring. So I think that could be a huge improvement. And I would personally, I actually doubt it happens. But I think Kyle Kuzma, I know people got mixed feelings about him, but I think Kuz, bro, Kuz can shoot the ball, and that's a good player, man. And people forget that's an NBA champion too. So I'm like, man, it's tough. But we talk about all these people of who can the Pistons get, but the thing we leave out and the thing we forget is the Pistons got to give up somebody to bring in more pieces. So I want to hear from you. If we do make any of these trades happen, the Cam Johnson, the Brandon Ingram, Kuz, all of these other people, even the Colin Sextons, like you mentioned, who would we give up to make sure these trades happen without giving too much?
Yeah, it's going to have to be one of them 3 vets for sure. I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. has been very valuable. He, too, can be kind of streaky, and he's also a very underrated defender. I think he's one of the top players in the league in terms of taking charges and, putting his body out there to draw contact. Right. Malik Beasley, he's been one of the best shooters in all of basketball, averaging over 40% from 3. He's already spoken in an interview where he said that some contenders have been on his phone interested in acquiring him. So, if he's mentioned in some discussions, I wouldn't be surprised either. Tobias, I don't really think he's going to move around much. I think, he has family in Michigan. I think his wife lives in Michigan around the area. And I feel like his name may not be as attractive as the other 2 names, considering their contract and his age. I don't think he would be one of the options that they would be reaching out to for a deal. So for me, I think it's going to be one of those 2 guards. I don't think it would have to be, again, you might have to maybe give up another pick or some other assets, which Detroit doesn't have a lot of to give away in the first place. Right. But, in terms of what they've built so far with some of the young guys, I don't think they're going to be, pitching many of them. Like I can't see Sasser or Stu or Asar. Like I just don't think they're going to shake up too much of the young foundation. I do think it'll probably be one of the vets to, bring one of those guys in. But, again, I feel like they're going to be pretty patient and conservative in this process, even though they are serious about trying to win. You see them making the right changes. Like Trajan Layton has even said they're better right now than we even thought they would be up to this point right now. So that's a good sign. They got a lot of tough decisions to make. I do think they're going to be smart and conservative about it. But, yeah, I think it'll be one of those 2 shooting guards to be one of the picks out.
Yeah, I thought about this too, man. And I'm like, man, I would really hate to give up Malik Beasley. Yeah. Just because he's been so solid this year, man. I mean, when Pistons down 12, down 15, he'd come in the game, hit 3 threes, and it's like, all right, we back in striking range. Like he's been doing this, I think, all season, and man, he's been playing really good. And same with Hardaway too. He had his games where he's just on fire, doesn't miss anything, and these 2 guys have really helped turn around the season compared to last year. And it would be tough to get rid of one of them, if both of them, to bring in another elite player, but it also may be worth it. But I'm like, I struggle with that. But I mean, that's good to know to think of, like, if we are bringing in elite talent, I guess those would be the only options. Because in my head, I was thinking maybe a Stu or Duran might have to go if we are trying to bring in another person. And depending on who it is and who we're getting, maybe I will be okay with that. But I just want to pick your brain a little bit. How would you feel about that?
I still like Duren's upside. I don't think I would give up on him yet. He can be a little frustrating in terms of his defensive focus. Like you said, you were talking about the stretch bigs. Like that has been his biggest problem. Defending without fouling and defending against stretch bigs who can shoot and put the ball on the ground. Like we've seen Vucevic with Chicago go off for 30. Man. We've seen Porzingis and Horford torch him. We've seen Miles Turner. He had 8 threes the last time he was at LCA. Like that's a very well documented problem. And unfortunately, granted, I like Isaiah Stewart. I wouldn't mind his name being pitched around as a trade piece for the kind of players that we're talking about, because again, a lot of the players talk about, they always call him the heart and soul of the team, he's the heartbeat. They vibe with him real well. He's a great chemistry guy, but he also makes a lot of mistakes, and he does limit you to some extent offensively as well.
Absolutely.
He's a very good defender. He's a bit undersized though. Doesn't really have his ability to create his own shot, which, kind of makes things a little tough. And as we know with Cade and Jaden Ivey and even Asar as well, they like throwing lobs and playing above the rim. And that's why Duren, I think, has so much, value with this team in terms of how they play offensively and defensively. Like when they create stops and they go run out in transition, they're looking to throw lobs to him or anybody else that's running. So, the tough business part of the game is definitely going to have to pick their brain and pick their heart. It's going to be sad in the locker room, but again, you can get a guy that'll sweep through like Cam Johnson, who's somebody that you can consistently build with for 3-4 years down the line. Yeah. I think they'll get over it down, sooner than later. I think it'll be worth it.
So I have this thing, and then I'm going to get to your audio clip, because I told you I got this audio clip for you that I definitely got to play. Okay. But the first things first, and I'm gonna just try and sneak this in real quick. I didn't even plan on asking this, but in my opinion, bro, Jalen Duren is really giving me Andre Drummond vibes, and I don't know if I like it. I really don't know if I like it, because I get, some Pistons fans are like, die hard for Andre Drummond. He was amazing. He was a double-double machine. Yes, he was, but the dude also had no offense when he was in Detroit, and he still doesn't really have offense. Can help you out if you have a team that's already put together, because his only job has to be rebounding. But in a situation with the Pistons where they need more scoring and they also still need the defensive end, it bothers me that Jalen Duren's offensive side is not developed yet. So with him, still being very, very young, it's something that I'm like, I got to see this in the next year or so, that he's having some sort of offensive impact outside of catching lobs, or else I'm going to want him to be gone. So I got to hear what you think about this, bro. Does he resemble Andre Drummond? Like, am I tripping, or like, do I have a point? I just want to know, because this is where I'm thinking. I want to hear your thoughts on it, just like where you are in terms of this situation, because I can't be the only one that notices this.
No, you're not tripping at all. That was a very, very popular name when he was drafted here, because a lot of people said like his floor could be Drummond, but his ceiling could be Dwight Howard. And people thought he might fall somewhere in between that. So no, you're not wrong at all about that comparison. Drummond, he was his highs would be as crazy as a 30-20 game, but then he could also put up some stinkers where, he's on the bench for foul trouble or struggling to defend the rim on a consistent basis as well. So, Duren is dealing with a little bit of that right now. Looking at how his game was in Memphis, he had a lot more of a polished, physique and, not a finesse game, a more power, like rim rocking game where he was playing like Shaq in college, where if I'm in the paint, I'm going at your head. Like there's nothing you can do about it. But it feels like a lot of times now their offense, I mean, obviously he's not getting a whole lot of touches on the block. So where he could like maybe expand away from getting comparisons to like a Drummond, who also didn't have much of a game on the block. His game, it seems like he gets a lot of, pass at the top of the key, catch at the elbow to, drop off to swingers and cutters. But he's still kind of struggling with, developing his own and generating his own offense right now. So that has to be his next step. He works a lot on it in pregame. I get to see him a lot up close. Okay. And, it's there. He has a nice touch on his jumper. If he could add that to his game, I think that would expand so much. But absolutely. For right now, a lot of that focus needs to be more so on defense, because, prior to Jaden Ivey's injury, they had enough offense around them where
true.
his offense reliability wasn't much of a priority. But at this point now, they kind of need that a little sooner than later. So hopefully they can add that. But no, I 100% hear you on the.
Man, yeah, that's so true, man. The Ivy injury is really like the root of the scoring troubles of not being able to outscore these teams, man, because like he helped so much, especially when Cade was like on the bench resting, like you still had so much scoring coming. Like, man, it was, that's rough. And I guess that's a great point, because with no Ivy, now you are looking at other people like, hey, are you going to score? Like, what are y'all doing out here? Like, Tobias, cook up something. Like, come on, man, I need y'all to, like, you start looking at other players like, hey, cook up. When Ivy was the guy who could cook up, but it just so happens that he's down right now. But all right, look, so we're gonna switch gears for a second, and I'm gonna play this audio clip. Now, this audio clip, I'm gonna tell y'all where it is. This audio clip is coming from Gil's Arena, and you probably you probably already know where I'm headed with this.
I know what time it is. Let's go.
But just to give you guys, I'm gonna play the clip in a sec. But to give y'all a background story, this is Gilbert Arenas' podcast, and he said Cade Cunningham has to go to a big market in order to allow his game to flourish. Now I'm gonna play the audio, and then I'm gonna ask you your thoughts. So let's just hear it. This is the audio first. Let's do it.
Your neighborhood just got cooler with Kroger Delivery's refrigerated trucks. Simply order groceries at the same great prices online as in-store, and we'll bring them to you fresh every time. And if that wasn't cool enough, you can now earn 4 times the fuel points after 4 with your digital coupon. Choose a next-day Kroger Delivery time slot for 4 p.m. or later on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Must deliver by February 4th. Restrictions apply. See Kroger.com for details.
Hey Atlanta, Apple is open for small business. That's right. We're here to make starting and running your business simpler. With privacy and security built in on all devices, it's easy for you to protect your customers' data. And if you need hardware or software support, you'll get advice from business experts at no cost whatsoever. So you can focus more on the soup du jour and less on, the other stuff. At Apple, we're open for your small business. Go to apple.com/small business or visit an Apple store to learn more.
To truly allow his game to flourish, in so many words, just paraphrasing. So those comments got the attention of Pistons head coach J.B. Bickerstaff.
So what he's saying is his opinion has nothing to do with the facts, because the facts are still the facts, right? We have Donovan Mitchell doing his thing over there, right?
Yes, number one option.
No one talks about it, right? Mm-hmm. Right? No one talks about it. Shea is number 1 over there, right? No one buys his shoes. Right? He's in the fashion, he's in it, can't sell no. Jokic is over where he's at. MVP, 3-time MVP. What shoes does he wear?
I believe
we don't know. Cade being in Detroit, playing the way he's playing, having 7 triple-doubles. Where does that rank? No one knows.
Cade should consider moving.
So, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Initially, he kind of got a point. I don't agree all the way, but he kind of got a point. But let's hear what your thoughts are. I know I've seen you talk about this multiple times, so I gotta ask, what do you think about that?
He has a point in, yes, nobody knows the shoes that they wear. No one should give a damn about what shoes Jokic is wearing. That's not the point. I hate this mentality of you can only thrive in New York or Boston or LA or Miami. Like, stop it. That's so ridiculous, bro. Like, if you look at the stars in the league, from Anthony Edwards, Minnesota, Giannis in Milwaukee. We just talked about Oklahoma City having Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jokic in Denver, and Cade in Detroit. You look at all these stars that are producing. I see you got the Pacers tag back there. There's 2 stars that are there. Siakam might make an all-star team today. Yeah. I don't understand this logic of you can only flourish in a big market team where the NBA has expanded to a point where it's the internet age. You could promote these players. The NBA media is just choosing not to, bruh. Like, I did a video on my YouTube channel, Top Title Entertainment, saying the NBA media needs to do better. Like yes, I understand. Oh, there's so much love for the LeBrons and KD and Steph. Bro, they on their way out the door soon.
Facts.
You have so much young talent. You have Ja Morant, who can be a face of the league right now out of Memphis. You have Like even like LaMelo, he literally was the leading vote getter for Eastern Conference guard in Charlotte. Charlotte ain't no big market, bro. Like it's so lazy, bro. I don't respect that at all. I understand. No, I don't understand what Gilbert is saying. He played for the Washington Wizards, which wasn't a big market. He was just good enough with Antoine Jameson and Caron Butler that they became a big story and a big franchise to talk about. Bro, I hate it, bro. I don't like that at all.
Oh, hey, that's facts though. You are preaching right now, bro. This is straight facts, and I love it. I love it because you brought up you mentioned earlier on, as you were just saying, this is the internet age, bro. At this point, anybody can literally be like a big market. It does not matter. And the reason that I disagree with Gil, I understand what he's saying, but the reason I disagree is because at this point, to me, it kind of reminds me of the time in the era that he played in. Yeah, you had, the big time players of Kobe and KG and Paul Pierce and them in the Celtics. And that's really all mainstream media talked about. But you also had plenty of other teams with star players on it. Damn near every team had a star player. And now we're back at that point where you see the Rockets have their set of stars over there. Well, back then they did. They had T-Mac. You had the Nets with Vince Carter. Even when Vince was in Toronto, he was in Toronto, he was a big name. So it's like, I get what he's saying, but to me, it feels like the NBA just has to capitalize on each team having an individual star, because now, and personally, I think it's even more valuable when people win with these smaller franchises. Like nobody give a damn about the Lakers and the Celtics, but Lakers and Celtics fans. I don't think the NBA really understands that yet, or mainstream media understands that yet, just because like it's fun. It's always something to talk about, whatever it's the big name, we know, whatever it's the face of the team of the NBA, it's cool. But at the end of the day, bro, I'm not a Lakers fan. I don't give a damn about the Lakers and what LeBron is doing. Like you mentioned, he on his way out. All them big names that you love so much, they on their way out, man. So it's like, that narrative is kind of it's a tired narrative for sure. And, when you look at the Western Conference and none of those teams are sitting top three, you look at the Eastern Conference and obviously Boston and New York is in there, but everybody in the East is stacked so close, and a lot of great teams are playing great basketball right now in the East. Like, it's so much more to talk about other than just the LA and New York teams. So I couldn't agree with you more on that aspect.
I'm gonna make one point. I'm gonna just make one point, and this is even like a small market type thing because they act like it's only certain stars they can talk about. I just watched First Take. Every day they get a chance to talk about Bronny. Bronny is a G League player. If you can talk about a G League player, you can make time to talk about Cade Cunningham and the Pistons. You can make time to talk about Jalen Green and Alperen Sengun, Amen Thompson, who looks like an alien of his own right.
Facts. Oh my gosh.
Victor Wembanyama is in San Antonio, and they talk about him constantly. Is San Antonio a big market? I don't think so. Like it's just a lazy excuse, bro. Like they keep talking about what's wrong with the league and why viewership is down, because the league does not promote these young up-and-coming players and these overlooked franchises. It has to stop, bro. That's one of my biggest missions with these platforms, bro. I'm trying to change that for real.
This is facts, bro. I can't agree with you more on that part. The league definitely got to do a better part. And to me, man, it's like, when I see stuff about them talking about Bronny James and all of that, man, it immediately in my mind, I'm like, bro, this is a ratings call. This is a ratings call, bro. I can promise you right now, don't nobody give a damn about what Bronny James is doing in the NBA. Bro is a G League player. Show me the damn Memphis Grizzlies with Ja Morant, and show me the damn Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis and Dame over there. Like, show me a different team, bro. There's so much more basketball to talk about. And like you mentioned too with LaMelo, like LaMelo leading in votes, and that's a whole topic right there in his own. Like, should the voting change? And is like, do they need to have a discussion about who can vote and who can select all-stars and who has the rights to vote? Is it going to be fans? Is it going to be a committee? Like, whatever it is. So it's just wild, man. And it is a tired thing. But I want to say this. So we're going to go back like toward the Pistons, more so focused on Cade and all of them. And so as you know, because you cover the Pistons, you follow them. They're on this 3-game losing streak. And one of the things that obviously is not a good thing that they're on this losing streak, but the road trip, I think, was 2-5 on this most recent road trip. But they go back home Friday. In order for the Pistons to end this 3-game losing streak, what do they need to do on Friday when they return to LCA?
They play Dallas, so I mean they're gonna have their hands full with Kyrie. Kyrie been injured, I feel like, or
he's been back and forth.
He's been back and forth.
Luka,
right? Okay,
Luka's
so they won't
not
have to
playing.
see Luka. Yeah, so they're gonna have to tighten up. Asar Thompson gonna have his hand full trying to make sure they can keep Kyrie in check. But I mean, it's the same thing. We're seeing a lot of opponents throw extra attention at Cade Cunningham, and like he's still able to get his numbers and do his thing, but he has to have somebody else come ride shotgun with him. I know a lot of Pistons fans are high on Asar Thompson, but he hasn't given what he's needed to give offensively. Granted, he doesn't need to be rushed into it because I know he had a very serious medical condition. But, I mean, they just badly need some offensive balance on a consistent basis. You can't live with Tobias Harris scoring 2 points, for a whole week span. You can't live with Malik Beasley, going for 30 one night or going for 25 one night and then, giving you 5 the next 2 games. Tim Hardaway, the exact same thing. Jalen Duren has to find a way to stay out of foul trouble. Like, these things have to be different for this team. So, in terms of their offensive balance, they're making plays and they're finding ways to be consistent in terms of defensive execution, but they kind of get a little rattled when they don't get, they don't capitalize with an offensive possession, or if they get a foul called or the other opponent starts on a run. So they just got to find a way to manage their emotions, stay focused on their game plan. And I think they'll find a way to get a victory. I think they will. I think they'll snap it against Dallas.
I hope so, man. And it's returning home off a long road trip. Dallas is in the Western Conference. It's not like it's a conference rival or anything. You don't see this team that often. So I hope they do pick it up. But one of the things I also want to mention, so right now Pistons, they're sitting at, I think it's AC? Need to fact check that real quick. I think they moved down to AC after the loss. And everybody's from 6 to 8 is like very, very close. I think it's kind of, I think we're all confident enough as Pistons fans to say Pistons will most likely for sure make the play-in. But in order to make the playoffs and like avoid the play-in, what do the Pistons have to do to make sure they can avoid the play-in and enter the playoffs at the 6th seed?
They got to stay healthy. They got to find a way to stay healthy. And again, I really think they need to make a move. I don't like the heliocentric ball dominant nature that they're playing with Cade, where all the responsibility is on him and to not just create his own shot, but create for others as well. Like he kind of gets gassed towards the fourth quarter. I really think they need to find one more ball handler, which is, I mean, whether it's Sexton, Lonzo Ball, like they just got to find somebody else to kind of take some of that pressure off of him, or maybe one of the guys in house to kind of give him a little bit of assistance. But for right now, I think they just got to, take advantage of where the East is. It's not very strong outside of the top 2 or 3, in my opinion. So as long as they find a way to maintain their consistency and, their defensive and offensive execution, I think they'll be just fine. But, take advantage of the teams. I think they got a pretty soft schedule outside of maybe a few games in February. So as long as they can find some consistency and don't have any mental lapses on either side of the floor, I think they'll be okay. And I think they'll find their way.
Yeah, man, I hope so, man. I'm on record saying Pistons for sure going to get in the playoffs this year. High expectations. I was like, no, we're not doing that play-in stuff no more. Like, we going straight for the playoffs, and then we're going to continue to build from there. But, man, look, I'm going to leave you with this. So that's the main thing. I got this question here. Just kind of want to revert it back to your experience. What's been the most fun part about covering the Pistons so far, man, and this season specifically?
Man, it's been a blast, man. This has been a dream come true scenario, and it's everything that I thought it was going to be. I mean, I'm really, to me, I think the coolest part is, because I'm pretty new at this media thing for right now in terms of being a beat reporter, but what makes it a lot cooler in terms of like growing my success is the team that I'm covering is trying to grow their success at the same time.
That's
too.
dope. Yeah.
So it's a lot of younger players that are trying to learn to be professionals, learn what it means to grow in this space. And I'm kind of trying to do the same thing too. So they're open to having conversations, being personable, doing whatever it takes to kind of embrace that next step of their career. So, I really like it, man. It's really been a dream come true. It's something that I've always wanted to be a part of since I was a kid. Yeah. And it feels like a magic carpet ride finally being here, man. I'm loving every minute of it.
Well, it's dope, bro. You've been killing it, man. You've been killing it. Y'all definitely gotta check his stuff out. Follow him on Twitter, follow the YouTube, all of that stuff, man. Check him out, man. And I'm gonna ask you to give your drop in just a sec, but I gotta give you your flowers, bro. You been killing it, man. You the Pistons guy for me. When I can't watch the game and I need to update on the game, I need to check the score. I need to see what they doing, if they playing good, if they playing bad. You are who I go to see my updates that I can't make myself. So I gotta give you your flowers there, man. You been killing it. I love it. And I know I'm not the only person that feel this way.
That means a lot, bro. Appreciate you.
No, man. And you ride or die for Cade, and you making sure our big market in Detroit gets on that national scale. This is why I put that on you when I said, I don't know who hit that damn PR button, but I think it was you. I think it was just you. I think it had something to do with you and the job you've been doing. But I'm gonna say this, man. Look, that's all I have, bro. Give your drop. Where can they find you? Drop the YouTube, drop the Twitter, drop all the socials, wherever you want people to find you.
I always appreciate you having me on, Manny. Thanks a lot, bro. You can follow me on my social media at I am Eric Vincent, all over at I am Eric Vincent. You can follow my work at clutchpoints.com as Detroit Pistons exclusive beat reporter. At every home game, I watch every away game as well. I'm always giving live feed, so you can check me out, my workout on there. And of course, I got my YouTube channel, Top Title Entertainment. I'll for sure be dropping a video today. I think they're about to announce who the All-Star reserves are. So I'll definitely be talking about whether Cade made it or not. So tap in and check in with me there. And of course, stay locked in with my boy too, man. I really appreciate the platform, bro. It's always a good time here with you.
Man, always, bro. I love having you on the show, man. And thanks for coming on, especially during this busy time, bro, because, the season's not easy. I know you're working, covering the games, all of that. So I appreciate it. We definitely gonna make it happen again. When the Pistons get in the playoffs and we got some more stuff to talk about, of course, we're gonna chop it up, but we finna hit that All-Star break. So we'll cool it. Other than that, man, that's all I got for y'all today. I'm gonna just keep it on a positive note here, man. You sitting here with two hard workers, so I'm gonna just say, man, the last positive note is just keep your head down and keep grinding. You gonna get there. You gonna get there. I be thinking the same thing to myself, but I just want to let y'all know we all on the same journey together, whether it's me, whether it's Eric, whether it's you out there doing whatever you're doing. Just keep your head down, keep working hard. We gonna get there. Other than that, that's all I got for y'all, man. Follow me on Instagram at The Run Podcast. Follow my, what else do I use? Damn, no TikTok no more. Oh, man. No but yeah, Instagram at The Run Podcast, Twitter podcast The Run, and my personal as well at I am Manny Wilson. But other than that, man, I'm up out of here. I'll see y'all later on next week. And so on and so on and so on.